KRAS was identified 40 years ago as a driver gene in many types of cancer. 10 years ago, a scientist who'd been working on developing chemical molecules that could target KRAS published a paper about a chemical that would inhibit one form of mutated KRAS protein.
This chemical, sotorasib, was the first compound to successfully inhibit KRAS, which is mutated in a third of cancers and was long considered to be undruggable. Today, sotorasib and another KRAS inhibitor, adagrasib, are FDA approved to treat patients with certain KRAS-mutated cancers.
This is the 10th anniversary that KRAS is no longer undruggable. 2 compounds are already in the clinic, and clearly the credit should go to this paper and this gentleman, Kevin Shockat.
And so my lab took some tricks that we learned from the kinase work and started inch by inch sort of applying it to KRAS, and that led to the discovery in 2013 of this drug pocket on KRAS. I was looking forward to the next 5 or 10 years seeing drugs that would target the other KRAS alleles, like the one that's dominant in pancreatic cancer and other mutations that our drug and the ones that followed don't target. And I thought that would be the 10-year plan, but it's here already.
The whole field has exploded in the last 4 or 5 years. There's a whole wave of new drugs targeting KRAS in the pipeline. I think that's the most exciting area. How these drugs behave in the clinic, how patients develop resistance, how we can overcome resistance, and how we can combine these drugs with other types of drug to improve patient benefit.
At the AACR Special Conference on Targeting KRAS, researchers discussed exciting new advances in treating RAS-driven cancers and in addressing some of the continued challenges, including efforts to prevent and overcome treatment resistance.
We need to actually get to the mechanistic details for why the patients respond to a point and no longer after it. It's not going to be an easy thing to tackle, but I do think it's doable. We just have to come up with the right tools.
We need a battery of different drugs. We need drugs that target the resistant forms that emerge, and also downstream pathways and indirect approaches such as harnessing the immune system, shutting down some of the effects of stromal cells, and other orthogonal approaches as well.
RAS has a very profound effect on the immune environment, and that we really need to consider it not only when we are thinking about how to design novel targeting strategies, but also if we want to understand and hopefully overcome resistance to KRAS inhibitors.
I think we're at a real tipping point here where time actually matters in what we do and how quickly we get these to patients. I think it's incumbent on all of us to work together and work with pharmaceutical companies to develop appropriate trials, to share data early and often.
This is not the end of the story. So what is next? I think that a new era in KRAS, in targeting KRAS is in front of us.
The first plenary session of the AACR Annual Meeting 2023, Beating KRAS, a 30-year overnight sensation, highlights the research-driven advances against KRAS and explores the future direction of this exciting area of cancer science.